Life is fragile. One moment, you're breathing, and the next, you're not. I flatlined. I died. And I saw something. Something unbelievable, the future. But also something else. Insane beings I can't even describe. This changed everything for me. Let me tell you what I saw. This near-death experience was unlike anything I'd ever heard, let alone lived through. It all started back in 1982 at Barbers Naval Air Station in Oahu, Hawaii, during a rim of the Pacific. That's the biggest military exercise in the world. But what was supposed to be a routine mission turned shockingly into a brush with death that would change me forever. I wasn't even flying the aircraft that day, just a passenger among the crew. But when the propeller broke loose mid-flight, slicing through the air and nearly colliding with nearby fire trucks, I knew in my bones that I was inches from death. What happened next? No amount of training could have prepared me for it. Before the incident, everything seemed like just another grueling military flight. The exercise ahead was relentless, pushing the crew to their limits, roughly 12 to 13 hours in the sky. Because of that, we were loaded to the maximum allowable takeoff weight. But shortly after takeoff, engine number 1 malfunctioned. The problem? We couldn't land immediately. Regulations required the aircraft to reach a specific maximum landing weight, so we had to stay airborne and burn off fuel first. Imagine the weight of that reality pressing down, flying with a failed engine, knowing there's no immediate solution. The tension in the cabin thickened, frustration growing by the minute. But amidst that helpless waiting, something inside me began to shift, subtly at first, then unmistakably. As the minutes crawled by and the tension reached its peak, I began to feel detached from the aircraft, from time, even from my own body. Those 45 minutes of circling felt like an eternity. What happened next was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. As the aircraft continued circling, I felt an overwhelming detachment from my physical body. I remember observing the scene from above, watching the events unfold with a strange sense of calm detachment, like I was observing everything from outside myself. The moment the malfunction was announced, emergency fire trucks were already in position, ready for the worst. But what happened next almost cost us our lives. Sitting just behind the controls, I realized in horror that someone had accidentally pressed the wrong pedal. Instead of swerving away, the plane veered toward the emergency vehicles. The descent became dangerously fast. I watched helplessly as the aircraft dipped lower and lower, heading straight for the fire trucks. And in that instant, I was certain this was it. I wouldn't make it out alive. I would never again hold my 2-year-old son. The whirring of the propeller, now inches away from disaster, became a haunting blur in my mind. I felt time stretch and slow, my body overwhelmed with fear, yet oddly calm, like my soul had already stepped outside, watching everything unfold from above. That out-of-body experience marked the beginning of a profound journey. Time, as I knew it, seemed to break apart. Everything slowed, unbearably, unnaturally slow. The world outside the aircraft felt suspended in some kind of invisible syrup. And just when I thought the limits of reality had been tested, something extraordinary happened. As if the world itself cracked open, a soda can suddenly appeared on the plane's windshield as we touched the asphalt. I watched in stunned disbelief as it floated, turning slowly in the air. The liquid inside began to escape, drop by drop, separating into tiny orbs that shimmered like glass. Each droplet hung there, motionless yet alive, as if the universe wanted me to see every millisecond, every molecule before what I thought would be my final moment. In the midst of it all, I wasn't sure if I was dead or alive. The sensations, the visions, everything felt surreal, like I had stepped out of this world and into another dimension entirely. Time warped and reality twisted. It was terrifying, and yet there was peace. A profound stillness surrounded me, as if some higher force was whispering, "This is exactly how it's supposed to be." Despite the chaos and the imminent danger, I felt a strange sense of perfection. Everything, every sound, every second was part of something greater. And just like that, without warning or explanation, it was over. We landed, shaky but safe. Relief crashed over us like a wave, and all three of us in the cockpit sat frozen in silence, our eyes wide with disbelief. No words were spoken at first, just breathing, just being alive. I would carry this experience for the rest of my life, not as a tale of terror, but as a message, a glimpse beyond the veil. But that wasn't the end of my journey. That night, after returning home, I lay in bed with a heart full of gratitude. I whispered a quiet prayer, thanking God for sparing my life, for allowing me to see my 2-year-old son again. But just as I began to feel safe again, the night revealed something unexpected, something otherworldly. I was suddenly awakened, not in pain, not in fear, but in complete silence. And when I opened my eyes, I wasn't in my room anymore. I was in a vast, infinite black void, weightless, timeless, and far in the distance a radiant light glowed, brighter and warmer than anything I had ever seen. It wasn't just light, it was love. It wrapped around me like a blanket of peace, overwhelming my senses with a purity I couldn't put into words. I didn't hear a voice, but I felt everything. That light, it knew me. It understood every fear, every moment of doubt, and still it embraced me unconditionally. In that instant, my soul recognized it, not as a thing, but as a being. My mind called it God, because in my heart, I knew nothing so loving, so accepting, so impossibly beautiful could come from anyone else. There were no words, and yet I was told everything. You are loved. You are precious. You matter. Not through speech, but through pure emotional energy. I felt hugged, cherished, seen, and for the first time in my life, completely whole. At that moment, nothing else existed. No fear, no doubt, just perfect, radiant love. And then, I felt something even deeper, a sense of home. Not like the home I knew on Earth, but something eternal where I truly belonged. I never wanted to leave, but suddenly, without warning, I woke up. In my bed. Back in the world I thought I'd left behind. The room was quiet, yet something lingered. A soft glow still danced on the wall, not from the sun or a lamp, but from that light. A gentle reminder of where I had just been. I watched as the glow began to fade, and with it, my heart ached. Tears rolled down my face, not from fear, but from loss. I had just tasted something so pure, so complete, and now it was slipping away. I was only 24 years old at the time, too young maybe to fully understand the weight of what had just happened. But deep down, something in me had shifted. A truth had been planted. There is more. We are loved, and we are never alone. This was definitely one of the most intense experiences I've ever had. What would you do if something like this happened to you? Drop your comments below and share your thoughts.